Hey everyone.
Hey guys.
Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to talk to you about 10 keto tips so that when you get started, you kind of have a rough idea of where to go from here.
That's right. Let's dive right in.
Tip number 1. What is it?
Keep it simple. You really just want to stick to a protein, veggies, low carb veggies, and fat. The fat really could just be butter on your vegetables. Like, it doesn't have to be. I'm always saying, keto's not all bacon and butter. That's a trap. In the beginning, everyone's like, oh, keto this, keto that. I got this keto snack. Don't do that. Protein, veggie, low carb veggie, and fat. Real simple, real easy. You'll get through it with that for sure.
Yeah.
The next one is track your food.
We use an app called Carb Manager to track our food. And what that entails, and it's going to sound crazy because it is a lot of work, and I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of work. But what it is scanning every item or looking up every item down to the tablespoon of whatever you're adding to your food to be able to completely and fully understand how much protein, how much fat, and how many carbohydrates you're getting throughout the day. It was almost invaluable to us as we were like midway through our journey.
Maybe like 2 months in. He started tracking before I started tracking, I think. But it really opened our eyes to, what we were putting on our plate, where we thought we were eating an adequate amount or not an adequate amount, or we were not feeling satiated. But it was really because our macros were off. We're not huge, strict keto people. So, it's really just there as a tool to see, okay, I've had, this much today. Maybe, just maybe, I should not have that sugar-free chocolate or whatever it may be that you're trying to add in. You might just kind of have to balance your stuff out. It was especially helpful before we started fasting because it really showed okay, I get carbs from my coffee, I get carbs from this, I get carbs from that. And that's really, it's really good. And once you know it, you don't really have to do it a ton. We don't track anymore because we kind of know our portion sizes, mm-hmm. But it's just in the beginning, it's really, really helpful.
Yeah, which also leads us into tip number 3, because everything can't just be scanned. We recommend that you get a food scale and start weighing everything if you're extremely serious about this. So,
just serious.
Well, yeah, just serious about it, and you want to put the effort in. So we recommend getting a food scale. We'll link one if it's not the exact one that we have, we'll find one comparable and link it in the description. But it's just one of those things that helps you keep tracking your food and helps you understand how much food
is a serving size
and what actually fills you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're not expensive. There's really, really fancy ones that cost a whole bunch, but you don't have to buy a really expensive one. I think the one we got was like $11 from Walmart. It just has to be able to hold like a plate. So you want it to be at least I think ours will hold up to 11 pounds. I don't foresee you needing more than one that will do more than 11 pounds.
Yeah. Probably not.
Which also goes into the next thing. These all kind of feed into each other, which is meal prepping or meal planning, or maybe both if you're willing to do it. Not a super huge meal prepper. I don't like eating always the same thing for a week. Those people that can make a roasted chicken breast and eat it for 5 days straight. Kudos to you. I am not one of those people. I need a little bit of variety. Not to say I won't eat leftovers, because that's where meal planning came into place. With meal planning, I would make a dinner big enough for dinner, but then big enough for lunch the next day or dinner the next day, really whatever suited
and I
us.
mean, if you are looking for that variety, meal planning is really the way to go. Cassie and I used to plan out meals at least like 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah,
And-
which also helped with grocery shopping and lists and stuff like that, which if you guys are interested, we can link a grocery list or an example of a grocery list that kind of gets you started. That way you're not like, oh, what's a low carb vegetable? I don't know which vegetables to eat, which ones not to eat. It could be a little helpful just to get started.
Yeah, so that was that. So we're going to move on to listening to your body. You should listen to your body, and it's a skill that you'll acquire over the time period of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, wow, I think I can understand like being full on fats and protein and stuff. It takes time. I will tell you that even myself, I can determine after eating a meal, I think I need more fat, or I feel like I need more protein, because your body just feels differently. Like, it's not even something I can really explain.
Well, it's being satiated, right? So I'm not a member of Clean Your Plate Club. I never have been. So I know when I'm feeling full, I may feel full, but if I'm feeling full on carbohydrates, I'm going to be hungry in 2 hours. That's the problem, right? So what he's talking about is that, you know, feeling satiated, feeling full, you've eaten enough fat, you've eaten enough protein to where, okay, I don't need to eat a snack in 2 hours. I'm not going to be hangry. I'm not going to want to rip people's heads off because I'm actually filling myself with nutritious food that makes me feel full.
Mm-hmm.
There's always an example about eating carbs. Like, you can eat a whole bag of chips, but you can't eat a whole like giant steak, or you can't eat, you know, something that's super full of fat or protein. Your body won't let you. It's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want this. Where with potato chips, I could eat a whole bag. French fries, whole lot of them.
Yep.
But not a whole giant thing of Brussels sprouts. I can't just keep packing those in. Eventually, I'm going to get full. So, I mean, I think that brings us into another thing where we're talking about carbs and listening to our bodies. Allowing yourself some cheats. And I don't mean a cheat weekend. I don't mean you've had a good month so you can cheat for 2 days straight. You're going to feel like garbage. I strongly discourage that. If you really want to, okay, that's up to you. But you're really just going to undo all the progress and you're going to hate yourself for it. So what we do is we allow ourselves a cheat meal. Literally, cheat meal.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, I woke up this morning and had a bagel, so at lunch I'm going to have a burger with a bun, and then at dinner I'm going to have a pizza. No, that's just eating like you used to. So please don't do that. But allowing yourself, okay, you know, I really like fried plantains.
And so do I.
And they're delicious. It's still a vegetable or fruit or whatever they're considered, but it's still a cheat. And so we allow ourselves to have that. Have I allowed myself to have Taco Bell? Yes, I have, but only once. And then once I was done, the next meal, right back on keto train.
Yeah, and we mentioned it in one of our first videos that, like, once you do a big cheat, you start to go on that snowball of like, oh, well, now I can have this because I already did it, and like you start to get down on yourself about the whole diet thing, and honestly, nobody wants that. No one wants to feel like crap about trying to improve themselves. So, you know, take it a day at a time. Allow yourself some cheats. Just don't go overboard.
Yeah. Moderation, which is kind of the key to everything, right? Is have the piece of chocolate. If that's what you desperately need for whatever it may be, allow yourself the piece of chocolate, but have the ability to not eat the whole thing.
So kind of like piggybacking off of allowing yourself some cheats. You should also be trying, this is our next tip, also be trying some new things.
Yeah.
And those new things might make you not want to cheat.
That's true. That's very true. Your taste, if you're following keto and you're really doing it, or a low carb lifestyle, your taste will really change. It's not going to happen overnight. I didn't wake up one day and was like, wow, I really, really love cauliflower so much. It's my favorite thing. No, that didn't happen. But I've definitely learned to love and appreciate cauliflower very, very much.
They joke a lot and say like everything in keto is cauliflower.
Yeah, those memes are my favorite.
But it's honestly like it's so like
it's versatile.
Yeah, we love cauliflower mash. We love the cauliflower thins. We use cauliflower thins today as
Trader Joe's,
as like almost bread for a chicken burger. It was delicious.
Almost. It was bread. We can show you a picture if you want.
But yeah, just the taking the opportunity and trying new things has allowed us to kind of just grow as we were going through a journey. There was one point near the very beginning of keto where we were like, we bought McDonald's chicken nuggets for one of the kids or something.
Yeah, we got the girls Happy Meals.
And we're like, oh, we've been good. Why don't we just have one chicken nugget?
One chicken nugget.
And I'm not gonna lie, I always feel douchey saying this, but it tasted disgusting.
He felt robbed of his childhood.
I was like,
it's reality.
I was like, this tastes fake. This doesn't even taste real.
Because we had been eating so much real food. We don't really eat a ton of processed stuff. Again, we stick to the same rules really of keeping it simple. So I'm not going to the store and buying frozen breaded chicken or even frozen chicken that's pre-seasoned, like the Tyson grilled ones. I don't buy any of that because a lot of that has maltodextrin in it. So when we're eating chicken, I buy chicken and cook it. There is nothing added to it except for the seasonings that I put on it. And the chicken nugget, to him, he was like, oh, this tastes like a chicken bouillon cube. Like, it didn't taste like I imagined it to taste, but that's because, we were months into our journey at that point and realized what that food was doing to us. So it's funny now. We look back at it. What did I have that I was like, oh, that wasn't even worth it? I don't remember. It's happened quite a few times where I've been like, okay, Cass, like I have an emotional day. I'm going to eat something crappy. And I make the decision to get something crappy. And that's my own choice, knowing I'm going to feel like garbage, but I need it at that time. And I'll eat it. And I'm like, why? Yeah. It's not even worth it. When I can cook something that's probably more delicious and much more worth it. I remember the first time we ever got Five Guys without the bun, because Five Guys does it without the bun. It's like the first order option you can pick if you order it online. And we brought it home and it was amazing. I was like, I don't even miss bread. This makes me not miss bread.
Yeah. So bread is a lie.
It's one of those things that you were saying. It's just a vessel. It's like a bowl, but you can eat it. That's all it is. Yep. It's just a vessel for stuff. It has nothing that it adds to things. That's our personal opinion. But I was also going to say there's some foods with going along with trying new things. I would consider myself a semi-picky eater, not hugely picky. I won't order things differently. I just typically will pick things out. But there's some vegetables that I maybe haven't really liked. I mean, peppers. I still won't gnaw on a raw pepper. That's just gross to me. I just don't like it. But orange peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers, I have eaten them in things where I wouldn't have eaten them before. Mm-hmm. There's not too... I always love vegetables, so that's hard. But new vegetables that we tried that I never even knew of, which was jicama, and we love it. Jicama fries. So delicious. So just don't close yourself off. Everyone really says oh, keto, I don't like eggs, and I don't like this, and I don't like these typical keto foods. There's so much variety if you just get creative. Yep. One thing that seems silly but really important is, keto food is rough and it will kick a lot of people out of even wanting to do this diet. So our one of our last few tips is make sure that you're eating and drinking your salt. Don't be shy with salt. It's good for you. Again, we forgot to say at the beginning, we're not doctors, so I can't honestly tell you how it affects your blood pressure and all of those things.
Yep.
But it's good for you.
Yeah, when we started, I had to have a water jug with some pink Himalayan salt just to even feel decent some days.
Yeah.
Just going through like the carbohydrate like detox.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah, you had a really hard time. Me not so much, but I crave salt. That's one of the hard things is when I like salty carbohydrates. Now I just eat a lot of salt. So I mean specifically like bacalao, right?
Yeah.
So Tony's Puerto Rican and his family makes bacalao, which is extremely salted. When you get it, you have to like wash it in order to cook it, and then it's still really salty. His mom makes like bacalao, and then she boils like yuca and plantains and potatoes in the water. And she's told me, Cassie, you don't need to add salt. I still add salt. So I like salt. Just anybody who knows
I mean,
what
she
bacalao tastes like.
she needs more salt than most people, but
Yeah.
But I think most people will be like me, where their body's just gonna be losing salt, and
Yeah, you pee a lot.
and it's gonna be super important that you get that salt intake back, or you're gonna feel worse.
Be ready for that. That's kind of like a side tip. Sorry, random add in there. Be ready to pee a lot, and also TMI, be ready to be a little constipated. You're not getting the same insoluble fiber because you're eating soluble fiber, which that could be a whole nother thing that we could talk about. But yeah, be ready for those. It's a lot of changes in your body and in your gut. So those first 2 weeks is just pure water weight that you're dropping. Your kidneys are just flushing your body out. So be ready to pee a lot.
And a last tip is going to be join groups and support teams.
Yeah.
Like
us.
You know, I think most people, even including us, like we gravitate towards things like YouTube because there's just so many different communities out there.
Yeah.
But there are Reddit groups. There are groups on Facebook. There are people and support pages that you can go to if you have questions. Like I said, there's YouTube communities that are already existing and have been existing for quite a while.
Oh yeah.
So
tons.
You know, a lot of these people have gone through the same stuff, have endured the same struggle, and you may need support. And if that's the case, you know, there's people out there.
Yeah, I love my keto support groups that I'm a part of. Excuse me, I love my YouTube videos. We talked about that in one of our other videos too. So I feel like I don't think we would have made it as far as we did without that support. I've definitely had moments where I've skimmed through the comments or, you know, went into YouTube and searched a very specific topic and found 10 videos. And if my favorite YouTuber has a video on it and it's a topic, then I'm going to watch it. And, you know, always do the recommendations and see where I kind of lead. I'm not going to follow everything to the letter. I don't think it works for everybody, but definitely find support. Look for people who are going through the same thing. Look for that sense of belonging. There is literally a community for everything that you need. I belong to a couple of different Facebook groups. Some are more strict about keto, and so they have really great advice on that end. And then some of them are a little bit more dirty and lazy, but they're there, and I can kind of see. It's also cool to see other people's before and afters and see what's worked for them, and people post recipes and suggestions, and I've offered suggestions, and it's really just great to be a part of a community.
Yep. We're going to wrap up, but we do have one bonus tip. And it's throughout this journey, it's going to be tough. You're going to experience hardship. And we just want you to know that you should not be too hard on yourself. Because you just shouldn't. Like, life is hard to begin with. There's so many struggles that people deal with on a daily basis that when you're trying to go about improving yourself, you shouldn't harp on yourself too much, because as long as you're making that step and that effort, like, you should be proud of yourself. We're proud of you.
Yeah. You know, I say it, I think I said it in another video, but give yourself grace and realize that you're human and you're never going to be 100% perfect. We haven't been perfect. I've had multiple cheat meals. I've had cake. I've had ice cream. I've had tacos. I even had bread. Not a much bread, but I even had bread. And I still lost 50 pounds. Tony's had cheats. He's had pumpkin pie and apple pie and apple
and
croissants
Thai food.
and Thai food. And we've had cheat meals and we've enjoyed them. And he's lost almost 100 pounds.
Listen, and you know what else? You will find that sometimes after a stretch of time where you haven't had a cheat, you'll have that cheat, and the next day you dropped a pound or two. Like
Yeah.
it just,
Yeah.
like it happens. It's
No
sometimes
science in that one.
your body just needed it.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta have a little extra. So don't feel like you failed, that you've fallen off the horse. Get back up, dust yourself off, and get right back to it.
Keep rolling.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.